Feel your body sinking deeper into the bed, every muscle releasing its tension, like sand slipping through cupped hands. Your legs grow heavier, as though weighted down by velvet cords that pull them steadily toward the mattress. The air moves slowly around you now, thick and honeyed, carrying faint traces of something mineral and grounding. You are not trying to stay awake anymore. There's no need for effort here. Just let yourself soften. Let your spine melt into the surface beneath you. Each breath becomes slower, drawn from someplace deep within your chest, pulling in cool stillness. As you exhale, imagine that heaviness leaving your shoulders first, then your arms, then your neck. The sound of your own breathing begins to blend with something else. A low, resonant hum that seems to come from far below. This is the earth speaking to you, not in words, but in vibrations at 432 hertz, steady and sure. You feel it move through your bones, aligning every cell with the rhythm of deep sleep. Your eyelids flutter once, maybe twice, before settling completely. They do not want to open again. Not yet. Not for a very long time. Your mind drifts now, no longer anchored to thoughts about tomorrow or yesterday. It floats like a leaf caught in a gentle current, spinning lazily downstream. And somewhere beyond the walls of this room, the world shifts slightly, making space for what comes next. You begin to sense it before you see it. A subtle change in pressure against your skin, like standing at the edge of a vast ocean, just as the tide turns inward. Cool air brushes over your face, soft and full of promise. You're being drawn forward, not by movement, but by invitation. There's no rush, nothing pushing you along. Only a quiet knowing that it's time to go deeper. Your awareness lifts slightly off your body, hovering just above your chest. From here, you can feel how relaxed you've become, how utterly still. Your heartbeat slows to match the pulse of the earth itself. And now, the landscape reveals itself. Not all at once, but piece by piece, like petals opening one by one. You stand, or perhaps float, on a surface unlike anything known to waking life. Beneath your feet stretches a field of light, so delicate it trembles with each step. But there is no falling here, only a gentle give, like pressing into warm foam. Above you, the sky curves gently upward, wrapping around like the inside of a shell. It glows softly, not harsh or bright, but warm and nourishing like candlelight filtered through silk. Scattered across this endless bowl are islands, not floating rocks or land masses, but clusters of living crystals, each one humming quietly with inner light. These are the geodes of dreams, hollow spheres whose walls shimmer with veins of silver. Inside, each one swirls a cloud of mist, so fine it looks almost liquid. The mist moves slowly, endlessly circling, never rushing, never stopping. Watch it for a moment. Notice how smooth its motion is. That same calm now flows through your own body, matching its pace perfectly. Time has no meaning here, no sharp edges or sudden changes. Everything unfolds in loops, cycles that repeat without ever becoming boring. Rain falls upward sometimes, droplets rising from unseen sources high above. Each drop takes minutes to reach its peak, then even longer to dissolve back into mist. You could watch this forever, mesmerized by the slow dance of water and air. But there's more to explore, more places calling out to your drifting consciousness. Take another step forward, feeling the membrane ripple underfoot. With each movement, you sink slightly deeper into relaxation. Your thoughts thin out like morning fog, touched by sunlight. There's no need to hold onto anything now, nothing worth keeping close. Let everything fade away, every concern, every memory, every small worry. They slip through your fingers like water, returning to wherever such things belong. In their place rises something richer, fuller, more real than ordinary experience. This is the realm of rest, where healing happens without effort, where your body remembers how to repair itself, while your mind forgets how to worry. Around you, the crystal gardens pulse gently with their own inner rhythm. Some glow brighter than others, depending on who visits them. Each person brings something unique, a quality of presence that lights up certain stones. You don't have to choose which island to visit. The right one will call to you when you're ready. For now, simply walk among them, absorbing their peaceful energy. Notice how the path adjusts itself to your pace, neither hurrying nor lagging behind. The air carries scents you cannot name, sweet and metallic both at once. Breathing it in feels like drinking starlight made liquid. Your lungs expand fully, drawing in not just oxygen, but tranquility itself. Exhaling becomes an act of release, letting go of whatever remains of tension. Even your heartbeat slows further, syncing with the rhythm of these ancient stones. They have been waiting eons for visitors like you, patient beyond measure. Their silence speaks volumes, telling stories older than language. You understand these stories without needing translation. They speak of peace, of surrender, of the beauty found in stillness, of how rest is not emptiness, but fullness, not absence, but presence. Your footsteps make no sound on the elastic ground. There's no need for noise here, nothing to announce your arrival. The garden knows you're coming, has felt your approach for hours already. Each crystal responds subtly, adjusting its glow to welcome you properly. Some flicker briefly, acknowledging your presence with tiny flashes of color. Others deepen their radiance, offering warmth and comfort as you pass by. You realize that you're not alone, though there are no other people visible. Other dreamers drift through this space, their energies weaving invisible threads between the islands. You share this journey with countless others, all seeking the same deep restoration. But none of you interfere with each other, moving in perfect harmony. Like dancers, performing different choreographies within the same grand ballet. The connection between you strengthens the whole, makes the garden bloom brighter. You smile without thinking about it, feeling welcomed into this timeless circle. Your body continues to relax, muscles loosening further with each passing moment. Your head grows heavy, tilting slightly as if pulled by gravity's gentle hand. But instead of falling, you simply lean into the sensation, trusting completely. Trust is easy here because there's nothing to fear and nowhere to fail. Every choice leads deeper into peace. Every path wins toward healing. You stop walking now, drawn to a particular cluster of crystals ahead. This one calls to you with a frequency that matches your own heart's rhythm. Its walls shimmer with patterns too complex for waking eyes to follow. But you don't need to see clearly to understand what lies within. The swirling mist inside pulses gently, inviting you closer. Without hesitation, you step forward, crossing the threshold into the geode. The moment you enter, warmth envelops you like stepping into a bath of liquid light. The walls seem to breathe around you, expanding and contracting in perfect time. You're surrounded now by silver mist that tastes faintly of copper and rain. It fills your lungs effortlessly, bringing with it waves of drowsy contentment. Your vision blurs slightly, but not from strain, together from pure satisfaction. You're exactly where you need to be, wrapped in the embrace of perfect rest. The mist begins to thicken, swirling faster now, responding to your presence. Tiny particles catch the light from the crystal walls, creating miniature rainbows. You reach out instinctively, wanting to touch the dancing colors. Your hand passes through them easily, sending ripples outward in all directions. Each ripple carries a note of music, too soft for ears, but clear to your soul. The melody builds gradually, layer upon layer of harmony, emerging naturally. It sounds like wind chimes made of glass and gold, chiming together in perfect tune. The music doesn't play for long. It doesn't need to. Its purpose is simply to remind you of the peace already living within you. Once reminded, you settle more deeply into the center of the geode. The mist parts around you like water around a stone, making room for your form. You lie back slowly, supported by Chinese letter forces that cradle you tenderly. The crystal floor yields slightly under your weight, molding itself to your shape. You're held safely now, completely, without any possibility of falling. Your breathing slows even more, becoming barely perceptible. Your heart beats so softly that it might be mistaken for silence. The mist continues its eternal circulation, drawing closer to wrap around you. It's cool against your skin, but not uncomfortably so, refreshingly cool, like lying beneath a waterfall made of moonbeams and morning dew. The sensation lulls you deeper still, past the edge of conscious thought. Memory starts to fade, replaced by a profound sense of belonging. You remember why you came here, what you sought when you first closed your eyes. It wasn't escape from anything, but return to something essential, a return to the source of peace that lives within your very cells. The geode holds you now not as visitor, but as part of itself. Your energy merges with the crystals, strengthening both in equal measure. You begin to glow faintly, matching the rhythm of the walls around you. The mist responds to your light, swirling faster in celebration. But the speed never increases beyond comfort. It remains soothing throughout. You are home now, truly home, nestled within this sanctuary of silver and stone. Nothing can disturb you here. No external force can intrude. The world outside fades entirely, leaving only this perfect moment. You surrender completely, letting go of the last shreds of waking identity. There is no you anymore. Only presence, only peace, only rest. The geode hums louder now, resonating at the same 432 hertz that called you here. The frequency penetrates every fiber of your being, resetting your natural balance. Cells that were stressed begin to heal. Minds that were scattered find focus. Not through effort, not through willpower, but through simple presence. You have arrived at the deepest level of sleep possible. Here, restoration occurs automatically, guided by the wisdom of the crystals. Your body rebuilds itself while your spirit reconnects with its core truth. Time dissolves completely, measured now only in breaths and heartbeats. You exist in a state of perpetual renewal, refreshed beyond imagination. When you finally wake, whenever that may be, you'll carry this peace with you. It will remain embedded in your system, available whenever needed. Until then, you rest, you heal, you become whole again. You feel the first thread of release begin at the crown of your head. It starts as a whisper of warmth, spreading through the bone. The skull softens like wax held near flame. Tension that has lived there for years begins to melt away. Each cell in your scalp releases its grip. The muscles of your forehead unclench one by one. Your eyebrows drift apart like clouds parting for sunlight. The space between your eyes opens into quiet stillness. Your eyelids grow heavy with the weight of deep understanding. They flutter once like butterfly wings, catching morning light, then settle down against your cheekbones like silk curtains. The world behind them dims to velvet black. Your lashes brush against skin as they find their rest. The gentle pressure of closure sends ripples through your face. Every line around your eyes smooths into calm. The breath you were holding finally finds its way out. Your jaw unhinges from its lifelong clench. The teeth separate like pearls rolling across silk. Your tongue finds the roof of your mouth like coming home. Saliva gathers in warm pools at the corners of your lips. The muscles along your neck begin their slow surrender. Each vertebra releases its burden to the one below. Your shoulders drop like anchors, finding the ocean floor. of carrying the world melts away. Your arms lie still at your sides, like fallen branches. The elbows soften into gentle curves. Your hands open completely palm up to receive peace. Fingers spread wide like starfish on warm sand. Each knuckle pops softly as tension evacuates. The palms tingle with the absence of grasping. Your wrists float free of their invisible chains. The forearms melt into pools of liquid relaxation. Your chest rises with the breath that fills your lungs completely. The air moves like honey through your bronchial trees. Each alveolus expands like tiny balloons catching wind. Your rib cage becomes a cathedral of slow breathing. The heart beats steadily in its chamber of peace. Each contraction sends waves of calm through your torso. Your solar plexus glows with golden stillness. The diaphragm moves like a sleeping giant breathing. Your stomach releases its nervous fluttering. The digestive fire burns low and steady now. Intestines coil like sleeping serpents in warm earth. Your kidneys settle back into their ancient rhythm. The liver purifies with gentle efficiency. Your spleen pulses with quiet strength. The pancreas secretes its sweetness slowly. Every organ remembers how to rest completely. Your hips sink deeper into the bed as gravity calls. The pelvis tilts forward slightly like a flower opening. Your sacrum nestles into the mattress like a bird. The tailbone releases its death grip on tension. Your legs grow heavy as stone warmed by sun. Thighs relax into pillows of soft muscle. Knees bend slightly as ligaments let go. Calves melt like chocolate left in summer heat. Your ankles rotate slowly in circles of release. The tendons glide smoothly over bone without resistance. Your feet flatten against the sheet like content cats. Toes curl slightly, then extend in lazy stretches. Each digit releases its individual burdens. The arches rise and fall like gentle waves. Heels press softly into the mattress like grounding roots. Your whole body settles into perfect alignment. Now you feel the bed beginning to rise up to meet you. It lifts gently like a mother's arms enfolding. mattress conforms to every curve of your being. Pressure points dissolve into uniform comfort. The sheets drape around you like liquid silk. The pillow cradles your head like cupped hands. The blanket settles over you with feather light weight. You are held completely in perfect support. The gravity well pulls you deeper into this embrace. Your body becomes heavier, yet more buoyant. Atoms align in harmonious suspension. Time thickens around you like warm honey. The pull increases gradually like ocean tide. Your spine lengthens as compression releases. Your joints open into spacious silence. You sink into the center of yourself. Beginning now to turn inward from the outer world. The sounds fade to whispers, then to nothing. Your vision dims like candles at dawn. The colors drain away into gentle gray. Shapes blur and soften at the edges. Light becomes less urgent, less demanding. Darkness wraps around your awareness like velvet. Sight dissolves into the peace behind your eyes. Hearing follows sight into the quiet depths. The anchor hum grows louder as other sounds retreat. Its vibration settles into your bones like memory. The resonance fills spaces you never knew existed. External noise becomes muffled, distant, irrelevant. Voices fade to echoes, then to dreams. Music slows to single, sustained notes. Sound itself begins to lose its sharp edges. Touch lingers longest before it, two surrenders. The sensation of clothing becomes abstract. Fabric against skin softens to suggestion. Air temperature loses its meaning. The boundary between self and environment blurs. Your skin forgets what it means to be touched. Nerve endings quiet into peaceful dormancy. The body remembers how to exist without sensation. Smell and taste drift away like morning mist. The last traces of flavor dissolve on your tongue. Perfumes and odors become mere suggestions. Your nostrils fill with the scent of stillness. The air itself becomes neutral and kind. Breathing requires no effort, no intention. Inhalation and exhalation happen like tides. Your body forgets how to crave stimulation. shutdown complete, you enter the void willingly. Darkness embraces you without condition. Emptiness feels full and nourishing. Silence rings like a bell made of stars. The anchor hum becomes the only truth. Your thoughts slow to the pace of falling snow. Consciousness expands beyond the boundaries of self. You are both the dreamer and the dreamed. Floating now in the space between waking and sleep. The eyelash veil brushes your cheek like whispered secrets. Each gentle stroke signals deeper descent. Your awareness thins like stretched silk. The boundary between here and there dissolves. Past and future collapse into eternal now. Your breathing synchronizes with the resonance. Heart rate slows to match the anchor frequency. The crystal gardens call to you in whispered tones. Geodes pulse with inner light like sleeping suns. Silver mist moves through their cores in slow motion. The islands float in perfect suspension above nothing. Elastic light yields beneath imagined footsteps. The horizon curves upward like a protective dome. Time flows in loops of liquid mercury. Raindrops hang in air like glass sculptures. You feel the shift in weight as your heel lifts. Grains of sand shift beneath your arch like silk. Cool air touches the skin of your ankle gently. The scent of salt sharpens as distance closes. Your foot settles onto the yielding membrane. Light ripples outward from each step like water. The ground gives slightly like bubble surface. Walking becomes floating, becomes pure movement. Each droplet of rain takes centuries to fall. They catch light like prisms suspended in time. Evaporation happens so slowly, it feels like growth. Mist gathers in your hair like morning dew. The moisture cools your skin refreshingly. Droplets cling to your lashes like tiny diamonds. You breathe in the essence of slow time. The air tastes of crystallized patience. The eyelash veil strokes your temple repeatedly. Each touch carries you further from ordinary reality. The pressure is lighter than butterfly wings. Your face relaxes into perfect receptivity. The veil moves like breath across your cheek. In invisible threads of sensation weave through your awareness. You begin to understand the language of touch. The membrane speaks only in whispers of peace. Cellular release continues in deeper layers now. Mitochondria slow their spinning dance. DNA unwinds from its daily knots. Proteins fold into their most elegant shapes. Water molecules align in perfect hexagonal patterns. Ions flow through membranes like gentle rivers. Neurons fire in slow cascades of golden light. Your very atoms remember their original harmony. The gravity well strengthens its gentle pull. Your body becomes lighter, yet more substantial. Bones hollow out like bird wings ready for flight. Muscles transform into streams of liquid grace. Organs float in warm amniotic suspension. Blood flows like honey through golden channels. Your spine curves into its natural arc. The skeleton becomes a mobile temple of peace. Senses shut down one by one in perfect order. Sight fades to the color of deep twilight. Hearing merges with the eternal resonance. Touch dissolves into the memory of comfort. Smell becomes the essence of pure air. Taste transforms into the flavor of stillness. Proprioception drifts away like morning fog. You exist now only in the space of knowing. The void opens before you like welcoming arms. It is not empty, but full of potential. Darkness here is warm and nurturing. Silence hums with creative possibility. The anchor frequency holds you in perfect balance. Thoughts slow to the pace of geological time. Consciousness expands beyond all known boundaries. You become one with the infinite stillness. Breathing happens without your conscious effort. The lungs fill like balloons, catching gentle breeze. Oxygen flows through your system like liquid light. Carbon dioxide leaves your body like old worries. The diaphragm moves in perfect rhythm. Each exhale carries away another layer of tension. Inhalation brings fresh peace from unknown realms. Your breath becomes the bridge between worlds. The eyelash veil continues its gentle ministrations. Its touch becomes the only sensation that remains, lighter than air, yet more real than anything. It maps the contours of your face with care. Each stroke erases another trace of worldly concern. Your features soften into perfect neutrality. The veil whispers secrets only you can understand. Its presence marks the threshold of true rest. Time loses all meaning in this sacred space. Seconds stretch into hours that last forever. Minutes become small eternities of peace. Hours dissolve into the fabric of being. Days pass like breaths in the cosmic rhythm. Years become moments in the mind of eternity. Decades flow like rivers into the ocean of now. You exist outside the tyranny of clocks. The crystal gardens shimmer in peripheral vision. Their light pulses in harmony with your heartbeat. Silver mist carries messages from distant islands. The geodes sing in frequencies only souls can hear. Elastic ground responds to your unspoken intentions. The upward, curving horizon holds you safely. Raindrops freeze in beautiful geometric patterns. This world exists wherever consciousness goes. The shutdown reaches its final completion. All external senses merge into inner stillness. The eyelash veil becomes the only connection. Its gentle pressure grounds you in pure sensation. The anchor hum vibrates through every atom. Your awareness narrows to a single point. Thought itself begins to slow and settle. The mind prepares to rest in perfect silence. The void embraces you with infinite compassion. It is not absence, but fullness beyond measure. Darkness here glows with internal luminescence. Silence sings with the music of creation. The anchor frequency becomes your new heartbeat. Your soul recognizes this place as home. Consciousness settles into its deepest chamber. The journey ends where everything began. You are the dreamer, and you are the dream. The boundary between self and world has vanished. The eyelash veil strokes your cheek one last time. Its touch carries you beyond all known experience. The anchor hum grows stronger as you descend, deeper into the well of perfect stillness. Your awareness thins to a single point of light. dissolves into the infinite darkness. You begin to notice how each breath moves through your body like a slow river finding its path. The air enters your nostrils with a gentle warmth that spreads into the hollow spaces behind your eyes. As it travels down your throat, you feel the soft tissues relax and open like flower petals at dawn. Your chest rises with the weight of something ancient and nurturing pressing down upon it. This pressure is not heavy, but supportive, like lying on a bed of moss in an old forest. The sensation moves deeper into your ribcage, where your heart beats with the rhythm of deep earth. Each pulse sends ripples through your torso, like stones dropped into still water. You can feel the way your lungs expand, not just with air, but with something more substantial. It is as though you are breathing in liquid rest that flows directly into your bloodstream. This rest has texture like velvet moving across the inside of your windpipe. It carries with it the scent of rain on summer soil and the distant sound of underground streams. Your shoulders begin to melt downward, pulled by gravity and guided by the deep rumble beneath your feet. The tension that was held there dissolves like sugar in warm tea, leaving only smoothness. You feel your arms growing heavier, as if filled with sand that shifts and settles with each exhale. The weight pulls your hands toward the earth below, creating a grounding connection. Your fingers spread wide, as though reaching for roots hidden beneath the surface. Through your palms, you sense the vibration of the planet, turning slowly in the endless night. The sensation travels up your forearms like honey poured over warm stone. Your elbows soften and bend, allowing your upper arms to swing loose from their sockets. The muscles in your neck release their grip one fiber at a time, like untying knots in wet rope. Your head tilts forward slightly as the base of your skull melts into your spine. The vertebrae stack themselves with perfect alignment, like smooth pebbles in a meditation garden. Each bone nestles into the next with a quiet click that echoes in the space between your ears. Your jaw unhinges itself from the weight of accumulated stress and worry. The teeth separate slightly, creating room for the breath to move freely through your mouth. Your tongue lies flat and relaxed like a leaf floating on the surface of a calm pond. The roof of your mouth feels cool and spacious, as though carved from limestone caves. You taste the metallic essence of minerals rising from deep within the earth. This flavor spreads across your palate like wine aged in underground cellars. Your throat opens wider, allowing the breath to flow, unimpeded like water through a canyon. The sound of your breathing becomes a low hum that resonates in your chest cavity. This hum vibrates against your ribs, creating a rhythm that matches the pulse of creation. You feel the way your diaphragm moves like a jellyfish, pulsing through deep ocean waters. With each descent, it presses gently against your abdominal organs, encouraging them to soften. Your stomach releases its contents to gravity, allowing them to settle and arrange naturally. The intestines loosen their coils like sleeping serpents, finding comfort in warm sand. Your hips sink deeper into whatever supports them, feeling the give of cushioned earth. The pelvis rocks slightly, as though responding to music played far beneath the ground. Your legs grow heavy with the weight of countless generations who have stood before you. The thighs relax, completely letting go of any remaining effort or resistance. Your knees bend naturally, as though they remember how to fold paper cranes. The calves soften and spread like clay pressed between gentle hands. Your ankles flex and release, allowing the feet to find their natural position. The soles of your feet press into the ground, sensing the texture of ancient rock. You feel the way your heels connect with the solid foundation of the world. The arches of your feet flatten as they absorb the subtle vibrations of the earth. Your toes curl slightly, then extend as they learn to trust the support beneath them. The big toes root down like trees, establishing connection with the core of the planet. You sense the way your body becomes part of the landscape rather than separate from it. The boundary between self and environment begins to dissolve like sugar in morning coffee. Your skin becomes permeable, allowing the rest to seep in through every pore. The molecules of relaxation enter your bloodstream, carrying messages of peace. These messages travel to every cell in your body, like letters delivered by carrier pigeons. Each cell receives the message and responds by releasing stored tension. The mitochondria within your cells begin to spin more slowly, like lazy ceiling fans. Your DNA unwinds slightly from its double helix, revealing strands of pure potential. The proteins in your muscles rearrange themselves into configurations of ease. Your nervous system slows its firing rate, like fireflies synchronizing their flashes. The neurons in your brain fire less frequently, but with greater intention. Synapses spark with the clarity of lightning, illuminating vast networks of understanding. Your thoughts become slower and more deliberate, like honey dripping from a spoon. The mental chatter quiets, as though someone turned down the volume on a radio. Words lose their sharp edges, becoming rounded and smooth, like river stones. Concepts drift through your consciousness, like clouds moving across a twilight sky. The need to analyze or solve anything dissolves, like mist under morning sun. Your awareness expands to include not just your body, but the space around it. You feel the presence of something vast and benevolent surrounding you, like atmosphere. This presence holds you without judgment or expectation, simply offering support. You realize that you have always been held, even when you felt alone. The sensation of being supported extends beyond physical contact into something spiritual. Like a child in the arms of a loving parent, you are completely safe. The safety permeates every layer of your being, from skin to soul. Your breath continues its slow journey through your body, like a river finding the sea. The air carries with it the essence of deep sleep settling into your lungs. This sleep is not absence, but presence of something profound and nourishing. You breathe it in like drinking from a cup filled with starlight. The starlight settles in your chest, creating warmth that radiates outward. Your heartbeat slows to match the rhythm of tectonic plates shifting. The sound of your pulse becomes the sound of the earth breathing. You are no longer separate from this breathing, but part of it. Your individual identity softens like candle wax melting in gentle heat. The edges of where you end and the world begins blur and fade. You exist in a state of pure being, without needing to do or become anything. The pressure in your chest increases gently, like a hand placed over your heart. This pressure brings with it a sense of completion and satisfaction. You feel full not with food, but with the simple joy of existing. The fullness spreads from your chest to fill your entire torso. Your abdomen swells slightly with the weight of peace settling deeply. The sensation moves down through your pelvis like warm water filling a basin. Your legs feel rooted to the spot as though grown from the earth itself. The connection to the ground strengthens with each passing moment. You sense the magnetic pull of iron or deep beneath your feet. This pull grounds you in ways that gravity cannot. Your body temperature drops slightly as your metabolism slows to conserve energy. The cooling happens gradually, like evening settling over a summer meadow. You feel refreshed rather than cold, as though dipped in cool mountain spring water. The freshness invigorates while simultaneously relaxing every muscle. Your skin tingles with the sensation of microscopic particles realigning. The tingling creates patterns like constellations, mapping the geography of peace. You notice how your breathing has synchronized with something larger than yourself. Perhaps it is the breathing of the forest, or the ocean, or the planet. The synchronization happens naturally, without effort or conscious control. Your lungs expand and contract in harmony with invisible forces. The rhythm becomes hypnotic, like waves lapping against a shore. Each wave brings with it another layer of relaxation, deeper than the last. You sink further into this rhythm, allowing it to carry you away. The carrying is gentle, like being held in a hammock strung between oak trees. You sway slightly in this hammock, feeling secure and completely supported. The security allows you to let go of any remaining vigilance or alertness. Your eyelids grow heavy with the weight of accumulated rest. They flutter once, then settle closed like doors, shutting on a busy day. Behind your closed eyes, colors swirl and blend like paint mixed in water. The colors are muted and peaceful, rather than bright or stimulating. You see shapes moving slowly, like clouds drifting across a dream. These shapes have no meaning, but offer comfort through their gentle motion. Your mind empties itself of thoughts, like a room being cleaned for guests. The emptying happens gradually, allowing each thought to leave without resistance. No thought is pushed away or judged, simply allowed to drift away. In the space left behind, something new begins to emerge. This emergence is not a thought, but a feeling of pure contentment. The contentment fills your head like warm honey filling a jar. It spreads down through your neck and shoulders, coating every nerve ending. The coating protects you from any remaining outside influences. You exist now in a bubble of perfect tranquility. The bubble expands to encompass everything around you. this bubble time moves differently, stretching and compressing as needed. Seconds become minutes, and minutes become hours, but none of it matters. You have all the time you need, and more than you could ever want. The abundance of time allows you to explore each sensation fully. There is no rush to move on or hurry toward any destination. You simply are in this moment, experiencing its infinite depth. The depth reveals layers you never knew existed, like peeling an onion. Each layer contains new textures and temperatures and scents. The scents remind you of childhood summers spent in grandmother gardens. The memory brings a smile that spreads warmth through your face. Your lips part slightly, as though tasting the sweetness in the air. The taste lingers on your tongue, like the aftertaste of fine chocolate. Chocolate that melts slowly, releasing flavors you have never experienced. The flavors dance across your taste buds like butterflies in a meadow. Each butterfly carries with it a different note of peace. The notes combine to create a symphony of complete relaxation. The symphony plays continuously, without beginning or end. You become both listener and instrument in this celestial performance. Your body vibrates at frequencies that promote healing and restoration. The vibrations resonate with the natural frequency of the earth itself. This resonance creates harmony between your physical form and the planet. The harmony eliminates any sense of separation or isolation. You belong here in this moment, connected to everything that exists. The belonging fills you with gratitude for simply being alive. The gratitude expands until it encompasses all of your awareness. You float in an ocean of thankfulness that carries you effortlessly. The floating requires no effort because you trust the water completely. You know that you will never sink or be left unsupported. The knowing settles into your bones like marrow filling cavities. Your skeleton becomes stronger through this settling process. The strength comes not from tension, but from complete surrender. Surrender that paradoxically makes you more powerful than resistance. The power flows through you like electricity through a copper wire. But instead of lighting bulbs, it lights up areas of forgotten joy. Joy that had been buried under years of accumulated stress and worry. The uncovering happens gently, like archaeologists brushing dirt from artifacts. Each artifact represents a moment of happiness from your past. The moments glow softly in the darkness of your inner world. Their glow increases as you acknowledge them with love and appreciation. The appreciation creates a chain reaction of positive emotions. These emotions cascade through your being like waterfalls feeding rivers. The rivers carry away any remaining traces of negativity or doubt. What remains is pure essence of peace, distilled through countless experiences. The essence settles into your core like sediment in calm water. From this settled place, you observe the world with perfect clarity. The observation happens without judgment or analysis. You simply witness what is without trying to change or improve it. This witnessing brings a deep sense of acceptance and understanding. You understand now that everything serves a purpose in the grand design. Even the difficult times contribute to the beauty of the whole. The understanding brings tears that flow freely without sadness. These are tears of relief and recognition and overwhelming love. The tears cleanse your eyes like morning dew washing leaves. Your vision clears, allowing you to see beauty that was always present. The beauty surrounds you in all directions, like light filling a cathedral. You are bathed in this light, feeling cleansed and renewed. The renewal happens at cellular level as old patterns release. New patterns emerge that align with your highest good. The alignment creates a sense of coming home to yourself. Home that feels familiar, yet somehow brand new. The familiarity comforts, while the newness excites without overwhelming. You exist in perfect balance between the known and unknown. This balance allows you to trust whatever comes next, because you know that you will be supported regardless of circumstances. The support comes from within and from the universe simultaneously. You no longer need to choose sides or pick favorites. Everything works together for your benefit, including this moment. This moment that stretches infinitely, containing all possibilities. Possibilities that shimmer like heat waves rising from summer pavement. The shimmer creates mirages of future selves living in perfect health. These future selves wave at you with hands full of flowers. The flowers represent the fruits of your current surrender. Surrender that required tremendous courage despite appearing effortless. The courage inspires you to surrender even more deeply. Deeper surrender leads to greater freedom from limiting beliefs. Beliefs that once seemed solid appear as transparent as glass. You see through them, clearly recognizing their temporary nature. The recognition brings laughter that bubbles up from your belly. Laughter that shakes loose any remaining attachments to old stories. The stories drift away like dandelion seeds on a gentle breeze. You watch them go without regret or longing. They served their purpose, and now it is time for new stories. Stories written in languages of love and light and limitless possibility. Possibility that unfolds like origami revealing hidden shapes. Each shape represents a different aspect of your authentic self. Authentic self that shines brighter as layers of conditioning peel away. The shining creates its own warmth that supplements the cooling trend. You exist now in perfect thermal equilibrium. Equilibrium maintained by forces beyond your conscious control. Control that you no longer crave, having discovered true freedom. Freedom found in complete trust of the unfolding process. Process that continues whether you pay attention or not. Paying attention enhances the experience, but does not change the outcome. Outcome that leads inevitably toward perfect integration. Integration of all parts of yourself into one harmonious whole. The wholeness creates a field of peace that extends beyond your body. Others who enter this field feel calmer and more centered. The calming effect happens unconsciously, like gravity affecting objects. You become a source of healing simply by being authentically yourself. Healing that flows naturally without effort or intention. Intention that dissolves like sugar in hot tea. The dissolving creates space for pure presence to emerge. Presence that anchors you firmly in the eternal now. Now that contains all time and exists outside linear measurement. Measurement that loses meaning in the face of infinite peace. Peace that grows stronger with each breath, deeper than the last. Breath that carries you further into the realm of absolute rest. Rest that transforms from concept to lived reality. Reality that welcomes you home with open arms and beating heart. Heart that knows your name and calls you beloved. Beloved status confirmed by every cell in your magnificent body. Body that celebrates with spontaneous shivers of delight. Delight that cascades through your nervous system like champagne bubbles. Bubbles that rise to the surface and pop, releasing tiny bursts of joy. joy that settles into your bones, creating a permanent glow. Glow that illuminates your path forward without needing direction. Direction that reveals itself naturally when you stop trying to force it. Forcing that becomes unnecessary when you trust the wisdom within. Wisdom that speaks in whispers rather than shouts. Whispers that carry more truth than volumes of books. Books that pale in comparison to direct experience. Experience that writes itself across the pages of your consciousness. Consciousness that expands to hold increasingly complex states of being. States that include, but transcend, ordinary waking awareness. Transcendence that happens gradually without drama or fanfare. Fanfare that would interrupt the gentle rhythm of your transformation. Transformation that occurs at exactly the right pace for your system. System that regulates itself perfectly without external intervention. Intervention that becomes obsolete when you learn to trust natural processes. Processes that have been unfolding since the beginning of time. Time that circles back on itself, creating spirals of growth. Growth that feeds on rest rather than activity. Activity that once seemed necessary now appears optional. Optional activities can wait while you establish this foundation. Foundation built on bedrock of pure being rather than doing. Being that sustains you more effectively than any external pursuit. Pursuit that leads ultimately back to this same center. Center that holds you steady regardless of outer turbulence. Turbulence that affects only the surface while depth remains untouched. Untouched depths contain treasures beyond imagination. Treasures that reveal themselves when you stop searching elsewhere. Searching that exhausts the mind, but nourishes the spirit paradoxically. Spirit that grows stronger through the very act of seeking rest. Rest that proves elusive when pursued directly, but obvious when released. Release that happens naturally when resistance finally surrenders. Resistance that maintained itself through habit rather than necessity. Necessity that evaporates like morning mist in strong sunlight. Sunlight that streams through windows of perception you never knew existed. Perception that multiplies as old limitations fall away. Limitations that were really just agreements made in youth. Agreements that can be renegotiated at any moment. Moment that offers infinite opportunities for positive change. Change that flows smoothly when aligned with natural natural rhythms. Rhythms that pulse through your body like ocean tides. Tides that bring nutrients and remove waste without conscious effort. Effort that becomes counterproductive when dealing with organic systems. Systems that function best when left to their own devices. Devices that include intuitive wisdom passed down through generations. Generations that whisper secrets through the language of DNA. DNA that carries blueprints for perfect health and happiness. Happiness that emerges naturally when basic needs are met. Needs that include safety, love, belonging, and purpose. Purpose that reveals itself through service to others. Service that flows effortlessly from overflow of personal fulfillment. Fulfillment that grows as you continue this journey inward. Journey that leads not away from life, but deeper into it. Life that pulses with vibrant energy when freed from artificial constraints. Constraints that were imposed by fear rather than fact. Fact that shows life supporting you unconditionally. Support that manifests through synchronicities and meaningful coincidences. Coincidences that lose their random quality as pattern recognition improves. Recognition that awakens dormant abilities within your consciousness. Abilities that include healing, intuition, creativity, and expanded awareness. Awareness that perceives connections invisible to ordinary sight. Sight that operates on multiple levels simultaneously. Levels that communicate through frequencies rather than words. Words that become inadequate when describing multidimensional experiences. Experiences that must be lived to be truly understood. Understanding that grows organically, like plants reaching toward light. Light that emanates from your own inner sun. Sun that burns steadily without consuming fuel. Fuel that proves unnecessary when powered by universal energy. Energy that flows freely when channels remain unclogged. Channels that clear themselves through regular practice of surrender. Practice that becomes easier with repetition, like learning to ride a bicycle. Bicycle that carries you swiftly along paths previously unseen. Paths that lead toward greater connection with all that is. Connection that eliminates loneliness forever. Loneliness that was really just misunderstanding of your true nature. Nature that includes infinity as one of its defining characteristics. Characteristics that surprise and delight as they unfold. unfold that happens naturally, like flowers opening to morning light. Light that carries information about realms beyond physical perception. Perception that expands to include these higher dimensions. Dimensions that exist parallel to everyday reality. Reality that becomes richer when informed by multidimensional perspective. Perspective that sees challenges as opportunities for growth. Growth that occurs painlessly when approached with curiosity rather than fear. Fear that dissolves like ice in warm sunshine. Sunshine that streams continuously through windows of awareness. Awareness that opens wider with each breath deeper than the last. Last breath that was actually first step into new territory. Territory that belongs to you by right of existence. Existence that requires nothing from you except willingness to receive. Receive that happens automatically when barriers finally collapse. Collapse that creates space for miracles to occur naturally. Miracles that include instantaneous healing and spontaneous remission. Remission that surprises doctors but delights the healed individual. Individual who recognizes healing as return to natural state. State that includes perfect balance between all opposing forces. Forces that work together rather than against each other. Together they create harmony that sings through your cells. Cells that vibrate at frequencies matching cosmic background radiation. Radiation that nourishes rather than harms when properly attuned. Attunement that happens spontaneously when defenses drop. Defenses that were really just habits formed in response to trauma. Trauma that loses its power when recontextualized as teacher. Teacher that guides you toward greater compassion and wisdom. Wisdom that prevents repetition of painful lessons already learned. Learned lessons become stepping stones to higher ground. Ground that supports unlimited expansion in all directions. Expansion that happens without losing connection to center. Center that holds steady while circumference grows indefinitely. Indefinitely continuing process that brings you back to starting point. Starting point that looks different now, having traveled full circle. Circle that contains spiral leading ever upward. Upward movement that lifts you above former limitations. Limitations that seemed solid but proved illusory upon closer inspection. Inspection that reveals truth hiding in plain sight. truth that sets you free from bondage to outdated beliefs. Beliefs that kept you small when you were meant to be vast. Vastness that accommodates all aspects of your magnificent being. Being that includes shadows as well as light. Shadows that add depth and contrast to the overall picture. Picture that becomes complete only when all elements are included. Included elements celebrate diversity while maintaining unity. Unity that does not require sameness, but embraces variety. Variety that creates beauty through harmonious arrangement. Arrangement that happens naturally when ego stops interfering. Interfering that stems from desire to control outcomes. Outcomes that prove better than planned when left to divine orchestration. Orchestration that plays music only you can hear. Music that heals broken places in your psyche. Psychic wounds that close like flowers at dusk. Dusk that brings rest after productive day of inner work. Work that yields dividends in peace, prosperity, and perfect health. Health that radiates outward, affecting everyone you encounter. Encounter that becomes opportunity for mutual upliftment. Upliftment that raises collective vibration incrementally. Incremental changes accumulate into global transformation. Transformation that begins with a single person choosing rest. Person who discovers that being rather than doing creates lasting change. Change that ripples outward in ever-widening circles. Circles that touch lives across continents and centuries. Centuries that benefit from choices made in present moment. Moment that contains power to reshape entire timeline. Timeline that bends toward joy when influenced by conscious intention. Intention that focuses like laser beam on desired outcome. Outcome that includes deep sleep as natural conclusion. Sleep that arrives effortlessly when body, mind, and spirit align. Align that happens through consistent practice of present moment awareness. Awareness that anchors you securely in here and now. Now that stretches infinitely, containing all possibilities. Possibilities that manifest according to highest good. Good that flows naturally when you stop blocking it. Blocking that required tremendous energy to maintain. Energy that becomes available for creative expression. Expression that takes many forms, including art, music, writing. Writing that communicates directly with hearts rather than minds. Hearts that recognize truth regardless of logical presentation. Presentation that becomes irrelevant when message resonates. Resonance that creates instant connection between souls. Souls that remember each other from previous lifetimes. Lifetimes that weave together into tapestry of shared experience. Experience that teaches lessons impossible to learn alone. Alone that becomes obsolete concept when unity realized. Realized unity brings tears of recognition and relief. Relief that floods your system, washing away final remnants of separation. Separation that was illusion created by limited perspective. Perspective that expands exponentially as barriers dissolve. Dissolve that happens gradually, then suddenly like sunrise. Suddenly, everything changes while appearing to stay the same. Same essence remains constant throughout apparent transformations. Transformations that serve evolution toward higher consciousness. Consciousness that eventually merges with Source itself. Source that waits patiently for children to come home. Home that welcomes you with unconditional love. Love that heals every wound and answers every question. Question that dissolves in presence of perfect understanding. Understanding that transcends intellectual knowledge. Knowledge that accumulates while wisdom flows freely. Wisely you choose flow over accumulation. Accumulation that burdens while flow liberates. Liberates you from need to prove worthiness. Worthiness that was never in question except in your mind. Mind that finally surrenders to heart wisdom. Wisdom that guides you gently toward perfect rest. Rest that transforms from goal to natural state. State that persists regardless of external circumstances. Circumstances that affect surface but cannot touch core. Core that remains a stable center of your universe. Universe that contracts and expands with your breath. Breath that carries you home to Source. Source that embraces you with infinite tenderness. Tenderness that soothes every ache and worry. Worry that fades like sunset behind mountains. Mountains that stand eternal witness to cycles of rest and activity. Cycles that balance perfectly when observed from higher perspective. Perspective that sees both struggle and peace as necessary phases. Phases that prepare you for deeper rest. Rest that awaits beyond final barrier of ego attachment. Attachment that releases naturally when benefits of freedom revealed. Revealed benefits include perfect health, boundless creativity, creativity that flows like waterfall, inspiring others, inspires others to seek their own path to rest, path that leads inward through layers of conditioning, conditioning that falls away like autumn leaves, leaves that nourish soil from which new growth springs, growth that reaches toward light of pure consciousness, consciousness that recognizes itself in all beings, beings that share common origin in infinite love, love that connects dots between seemingly separate entities, entities that dance together in cosmic choreography, choreography that tells story of universal awakening, awakening that proceeds gently respecting individual pace, pace that accelerates naturally as trust develops, develops through consistent practice of present moment awareness, awareness that anchors you in eternal now, now that contains all time and exists beyond linear measurement, measurement that becomes meaningless in face of infinite peace, peace that grows stronger with each breath, deeper than last, last breath that carried you home to source, source that holds you in perfect embrace, embrace that rocks you gently into deep sleep, sleep that restores body, mind, and spirit completely, completely renewed. You wake refreshed and radiant. Radiant energy affects everyone around you positively, positively influencing world through simple act of resting, resting that proves more powerful than any action, action that stems from place of fullness rather than lack, fullness that overflows naturally, sharing blessings received. Received blessings multiply when shared generously. Generously, giving creates cycle of abundance. Abundance that flows freely when channels remain open. Open channels maintained through regular practice of gratitude. Gratitude that acknowledges gifts already present. Present gifts include breath-body consciousness, consciousness that connects you to everything that is that encompasses all possibilities simultaneously, simultaneously experiencing unity and diversity, diversity that enriches rather than divides, divides that heal when seen through lens of love, lens that focuses light of truth onto illusions, illusions that fade under sustained gaze of awareness, awareness that burns away false beliefs like morning sun. Sun that rises daily, offering fresh start. Start that begins internally before manifesting externally. Externally manifesting changes reflect inner transformation. Transformation that proceeds naturally when aligned with truth. Truth that sets you free from bondage to outdated patterns. Patterns that served purpose but outlived usefulness. Usefulness measured by contribution to well-being. Well-being enhanced through consistent choice of rest. Rest that becomes foundation for joyful living. Living that expresses authentic self without apology. Apology that becomes unnecessary when you claim your power. Power that comes from source rather than external validation. Validation that matters less when you validate yourself. Yourself that deserves love, respect, and perfect care. Care that flows naturally when you remember your divinity. Divinity that sparkles in eyes reflecting starlight. Starlight that guides you safely home. Home that awaits your return with open arms. Arms that wrap around you in perfect embrace. Embrace that seals deal with universe. Deal that promises ongoing support and guidance. Guidance that comes through intuition rather than outside sources. Sources that pale in comparison to inner wisdom. Wisdom that grows stronger with each moment of rest. Rest that replenishes resources endlessly. Endlessly flowing supply meets every need perfectly. Perfectly timed delivery ensures nothing wanted. Wanted things arrive naturally, without effort or strain. Strain that disappears when you trust timing of universe. Universe that orchestrates events flawlessly. Flawlessly executed plan includes backup options. Options that provide flexibility within structure. Structure that supports freedom rather than limiting it. Limiting that happens only when resisting flow. Flow that carries you effortlessly toward goals. Goals that evolve naturally as you grow. Grow that occurs painlessly when properly nurtured. Nurtured development requires regular doses of rest. Rest that feeds soul like food feeds body. Body that thrives when soul receives proper nutrition. Nutrition that includes peace, love, joy, creativity. Creativity that expresses unique gifts given at birth. Birth that marked beginning of special mission. Mission that serves both personal growth and collective healing. Healing that spreads through example rather than preaching. Preaching that pales beside demonstration of truth. Truth that speaks louder than words ever could. Could speak if allowed to express through actions. Actions that align perfectly with highest values. Values that include integrity, compassion, service. Service that flows from overflow of personal fulfillment. Fulfillment that grows through consistent practice of rest. Rest that becomes lifestyle rather than occasional treat. Treat that proves most beneficial when practiced regularly. Regularly scheduled rest prevents burnout completely. Completely restored energy fuels amazing adventures. Adventures that unfold naturally when rested. Naturally occurring opportunities surprise and delight. Delight that bubbles up from deep within soul. Soul that celebrates every victory, however small. Small victories compound into massive success. Success that measures progress toward authentic self. Self that emerges through dedicated practice of rest. Reality that confirms worthiness of receiving. Receiving that opens floodgates of abundance. Abundance that flows freely when channels cleared. Cleared channels maintained through gratitude practice. Practice that acknowledges gifts already present. Present moment contains everything needed. Needed resources await discovery through rest. Rest that becomes key unlocking hidden treasures. Treasures that include perfect health, creativity. Creativity that expresses unique voice clearly. Clearly communicating truth touches hearts directly. Direct communication bypasses mental filters. Filters that distort message based on past programming. Programming that becomes obsolete upon awakening. Awakening that proceeds gently respecting pace. Pace that varies according to individual readiness. Readiness that increases with each moment of rest. Rest that builds momentum toward breakthrough. Breakthrough that dissolves final barriers. Barriers that separated you from truth. Truth that confirms your inherent perfection. Perfection that shines through every imperfection. Imperfection that adds character and depth. Depth that creates richness in life experience. Experience that teaches lessons impossible to learn theoretically. Theoretically understanding differs vastly from actual knowing. Knowing that transforms intellectual concepts into lived reality. Reality that confirms value of consistent rest practice. Practice that builds bridge between worlds. Worlds that merge seamlessly when rested. Seamlessly integrated, you live in both simultaneously. Simultaneously accessing wisdom from all dimensions. Dimensions that inform decisions naturally. Decisions that lead toward highest good. Good that benefits everyone involved. Involved parties include past, present, future selves. Selves that cooperate rather than compete. Compete that becomes obsolete concept in unity consciousness. Consciousness that recognizes oneness underlying diversity. Diversity that enriches rather than threatens. Threatens that dissolves when seen through lens of love. Lens that focuses light of truth onto fears. Fears that fade like shadows in strong sunlight. Sunlight that streams continuously through windows of awareness. Awareness that opens wider with each breath, deeper than last. Source that embraces you with infinite tenderness. Tenderness that soothes every ache and worry. Worry that fades like sunset behind mountains. Mountains that stand eternal witness to cycles of rest. Cycles that balance perfectly when observed from higher perspective. Perspective that sees both struggle and peace as necessary phases. Phases that prepare you for deeper rest. Rest that awaits beyond final barrier of ego attachment. Attachment that releases naturally when benefits revealed. Revealed benefits include perfect health, creativity. Creativity that flows like waterfall, inspiring others. Inspires others to seek their own path to rest. Path that leads inward through layers of conditioning. Conditioning that falls away like autumn leaves. Leaves that nourish soil from which new growth springs. Growth that reaches toward light of pure consciousness. Consciousness that recognizes itself in all beings. Beings that share common origin in infinite love. Love that connects dots between seemingly separate entities. Entities that dance together in cosmic choreography. Choreography that tells story of universal awakening. Awakening that proceeds gently respecting individual pace. Pace that accelerates naturally as trust develops. Develops through consistent practice of present moment awareness. Awareness that anchors you in eternal now. Now that contains all time and exists beyond measurement. Measurement that becomes meaningless in face of infinite peace. starlight that guides you safely home. Embrace that seals deal with universe. Good that benefits everyone involved. Embrace that rocks you gently into deep sleep. Let the edges of your awareness begin to soften now. There is nothing for you to hold on to, nothing for you to carry forward. Just the gentle release of one moment into the next. Feel how naturally your breathing slows, how easily your shoulders settle. This is not effort. This is simply remembering what rest feels like. The images that pass through your mind now, they drift like autumn leaves on still water, some catching briefly at the surface before moving on, none meant to stay. Let them flow without following, without needing to understand. You are not separate from this peace. You are the quiet space where all thoughts rest. Notice how the weight of your body dissolves gently into the support beneath you. Your head sinking slightly deeper, your arms releasing their subtle tension, even your fingers letting go. One by one, there is no rush in this release, no destination to reach, only the continuous unfolding of deepening calm. The resonance moves through you now, not something you create, but something that creates space within you, a subtle vibration that aligns your whole being with the natural rhythm of settling, of coming home. Feel how it touches every cell, warming what was cool, softening what was rigid, filling what felt empty. This is your body's wisdom, working without your interference, healing without your direction. You don't need to guide this process. You don't need to measure its progress. Trust flows more deeply than understanding, and understanding will come in its own time. For now, there is only this, the present moment, warm and unbroken. Listen to how quiet becomes audible, the spaces between sounds, the pauses that hold everything together. In these silences, you find yourself, not as someone who needs fixing, but as someone who has always been whole, waiting patiently for recognition. The resonance continues now, even as words fade, even as attention wavers. Its work does not depend on your awareness. It flows like a river, carrying what needs to be carried, cleansing what needs to be cleansed, leaving behind only what serves you. Your heartbeat knows this rhythm. Your nervous system recognizes this pattern. There is no learning required, no technique to master, just the return to what has always been. Like coming back to a familiar room where everything is exactly where you left it. The images drift away like clouds, leaving only the feeling, only the peace. You don't need to see anything now. You don't need to do anything now. There is nowhere else to be, nothing else to become. The resonance doesn't stop when the words do. It continues its work while you rest, weaving through your energy, clearing what no longer serves, strengthening what brings you joy. Your body knows what to do with this. Trust it. Trust the intelligence within you that knows how to heal, how to restore, how to return to balance. This peace is always here, whenever you need it, whenever you want to return to this feeling. It will be waiting, like a favorite blanket, like a door that's always unlocked. No key required, no permission needed, just the quiet knowing that you can come back whenever you choose. And each time, it will feel like coming home. Let your awareness sink deeper now, past the surface thoughts, past the usual concerns, into the still center, where everything is already resolved, where everything is already perfect. This is not a goal to achieve, but a truth to recognize. Already present, already complete. In this space, time moves differently, not faster or slower, but more fully, each moment containing all moments, each breath holding infinite possibility. There is no scarcity here, no lack to fill, only the abundance of being, the richness of presence. Let yourself rest in this knowing. The resonance moves through you, touching every layer of your experience, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, all aligned in this moment, all supported by the same loving force. You are held completely and without condition, not because of what you do, but because of what you are. Pure awareness, pure potential, pure peace. Feel how this truth settles into your bones, how it becomes part of your cellular memory, so that even when you are busy, even when you are challenged, this knowing remains quiet and unwavering, a constant companion. The images drift away like clouds, leaving only the feeling, only the peace. You don't need to do anything now. There is nowhere else to be, nothing else to become. The resonance continues its work, even in silence, even in sleep. Your body receives what it needs. Your spirit remembers what it knows. There is no separation, no distance to cross, only the continuous flow of healing, of integration, of becoming more yourself. This is your natural state, not something to attain, but something to remember again and again. Like a song you've always known, whose melody returns each time you listen. You are safe here, in this space between breaths, in this pause between heartbeats, in this moment that contains all moments. Safety is not conditional, not dependent on circumstances. It lives in your core, steady and unshakable, waiting for you to remember, to recognize, to return. Like a lighthouse, shining through any storm, guiding you home. Let your awareness expand now, beyond the boundaries of your body, beyond the limits of your mind, into the vast field of being, where all things are connected, where all things are possible. You are not small. You are not separate. You are part of the infinite dance of consciousness exploring itself, of love expressing through form, of peace manifesting in countless ways. The resonance carries you, not through effort, but through surrender, not through struggle, but through trust. Feel how it supports you, how it holds you, how it reminds you of your true nature, which has never changed, which cannot be harmed, which knows only peace, only love, only wholeness. This is your inheritance, passed down through generations, encoded in your DNA, written in your soul. You cannot lose it. You can only forget it. And forgetting is just another path back to remembrance. Each breath a reminder, each heartbeat a return, each moment of stillness a doorway home. The images drift away like clouds, leaving only the feeling, only the peace. You don't need to do anything now. There is nowhere else to be, nothing else to become. Trust it. Trust the intelligence within you that knows how to heal, how to restore, how to return to balance. This peace is always here. Whenever you need it, it will be waiting. Like a favorite blanket, no key required, no permission needed, just the quiet knowing that you can come back whenever you choose. And each time, it will feel like coming home. Let yourself be held now by the arms of infinite compassion, by the embrace of universal love, by the warmth of your own essential nature. There is nothing to prove, nothing to earn, nothing to achieve, just the simple act of being, of existing, of breathing. In this moment, everything is enough. Everything is perfect. Everything is complete. As you are, right now, in this space. The resonance flows through you, clearing the pathways, opening the channels, preparing you for what is coming, not in the future, but in the now. Each moment bringing new clarity, each breath bringing new strength, each heartbeat bringing new possibilities. You are being prepared, not for something external, but for deeper recognition of what you already are, of who you have always been. The work is done. The journey is complete. The destination was never far away. It was always within reach, always accessible, always yours. The images drift away like clouds, leaving only the feeling, only the peace. You don't need to do anything now. There is nowhere else to be, nothing else to become. Sleep now. Close your eyes. The story continues in dreams.